Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. What happens when life hits you? Because that's the difference. That's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's mindset. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Some people run from struggle, they pray for an easy life. But let me tell you something, ease won't make you better. Pressure makes diamonds. Fire forges steel. The hardest battles create the strongest warriors. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to train your mind to embrace the struggle. You see, pain is not your enemy. Fear is not your enemy. Doubt, failure, rejection, none of these things can break you unless you let them. You don't train for the easy days. You train for the days when everything goes wrong, and you still have to stand tall. Dreams without discipline are just wishes. Everybody wants to win, but wanting isn't enough. Wishing isn't enough. The question is, what are you willing to do? How much are you willing to sacrifice? Because success is rented, and the rent is due every single day. Discipline is the key. The ability to show up, to push forward, to do the hard things even when you don't feel like it. Train your mind to focus. Train your mind to commit. Because if you don't control your mind, the world will. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. I'm telling you right now, you will fail, you will struggle, you will have moments where you feel like giving up. But that's when your training kicks in. You don't quit when it gets hard. You don't back down when you're tired. You don't stop because of setbacks. No, you train yourself to push through, to keep going when most people would give up. That's the difference. That's the mindset of a champion. Don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. At the end of the day, life is not just about what you achieve for yourself, it's about who you lift up along the way. You train your mind not just for your success, but so you can inspire others to do the same. You want to overcome everything? Train your mind, train your spirit, train your heart. Because once your mind is unbreakable, nothing can stop you. Thank you. This speech has that powerful, commanding presence with a mix of inspiration, discipline, and raw motivation. Would you like any refinements? Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Most people think the enemy of success is failure. They think if they lose, if they struggle, if they fall short, that's what's stopping them from achieving their goals. But that's not true. The real threat? Comfort. The real danger? Living too easy. The real reason people don't grow? Because they never put themselves in situations that demand it. See, comfort is addictive. It's a warm bed on a cold morning. It's staying where it's safe, doing what's easy, avoiding the hard conversations, the hard decisions, the risks that might stretch you. It feels good, sure, but comfort is a slow poison. It doesn't kill you fast. It kills you over time. It makes you soft. It makes you complacent. It makes you forget what you're capable of. It makes you forget what you're capable of. The mind is like a muscle. It needs resistance. It needs pressure. It needs struggle to grow stronger. Think about it. When you lift weights, you're tearing muscle fibers apart. It's painful. It's exhausting. But when you rest, those muscles rebuild, stronger than before. That's how strength is built. That's how growth happens. And the same rule applies to your mind. If you never put yourself through challenges, if you never test yourself, if you never stretch beyond what's comfortable, you don't grow. You stay the same. The problem is, most people run from struggle. The moment things get hard, they back off. The moment they fail, they quit. The moment they face resistance, they assume they're on the wrong path. But the truth is, resistance is proof that you're moving forward. Struggle is proof that you're growing. You have to train yourself to see hardship differently, not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. Look at the most successful people in the world, the ones who changed history, the ones who built empires, the ones who defied the odds. None of them had it easy. None of them walked a smooth road to success. Every single one of them faced rejection. Every single one of them failed, over and over again. Every single one of them went through times when it would have been easier to quit, to settle, to go back to comfort, but they didn't. Because they understood something most people don't. Growth comes from the struggle. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Did he quit? No. He used that failure as fuel, pushing himself to train harder, to work longer, to prove he belonged on that court. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Did she listen? No. She used that rejection as motivation to build her own platform, to create something the world had never seen before. Every person who has ever achieved greatness had a moment where they had to decide, am I going to let this break me, or am I going to let this make me? And that's the question for you. When life gets hard, what do you do? When things don't go your way, do you complain? Do you make excuses? Do you sit back and wish things were easier? Or do you step up? Do you adapt? Do you push through even when it hurts? Because that decision right there is what determines who you become. Let me tell you something. Ease will never change you. An easy life will never make you strong. If you want to grow, if you want to win, if you want to become the kind of person who can handle anything life throws at you, then you have to stop running from difficulty and start chasing it. Challenge yourself. Put yourself in situations that demand more from you. Push beyond what's comfortable. Wake up earlier than you want to. Train harder than you think you can. Work on your craft longer than anyone else. Read more, learn more, do more. Because when you do, you're not just building skills, you're building something far more important. Resilience. Mental toughness. The ability to face any obstacle and know without a doubt that you can overcome it. People say they want success, but what they really mean is they want success without struggle. They want strength without sacrifice. They want victory without the fight. But that's not how life works. Every great achievement requires great effort. Every strong mind was built through hardship. Every person who has ever stood at the top of their field got there because they were willing to do what others wouldn't. So the next time life gets tough, don't wish it was easier. Don't pray for comfort. Pray for strength. Train yourself to see struggle as your greatest teacher. When you feel resistance, lean into it. When you fail, learn from it. When you face adversity, rise above it. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that truly makes you stronger, the only thing that prepares you for everything life will throw your way, is learning how to overcome. Ease will not help you grow. Hardship will. And if you can train your mind to embrace that, there is nothing you cannot overcome. Dreams without discipline are just wishes. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has that thing they want, the career, the success, the freedom, the impact. But wanting it isn't enough. Dreaming about it isn't enough. Because a dream without discipline is nothing more than a wish. And wishes don't come true just because you want them to. They come true when you work for them, when you sacrifice for them, when you build the habits, the focus, the discipline it takes to turn that dream into reality. That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. Not talent, not luck, not connections. It's discipline. The ability to show up when you don't feel like it. The ability to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. The ability to put in the work, day after day, even when no one is watching. Because that's where success is built. Not in the big moments, not in the highlights, but in the hours of unseen effort, in the early mornings and late nights, in the discipline to keep going long after motivation fades. Motivation is easy. It's exciting. It's that rush you feel when you start something new. But motivation doesn't last. It fades when things get hard. It disappears when the excitement wears off. And that's why discipline is what separates the great from the average. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't wait for the right mood, the perfect conditions, or the easy path. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, no excuses, no exceptions. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They don't wake up every morning feeling inspired. They don't always feel like pushing their limits. But they do it anyway. They follow the schedule, they put in the hours, they stick to the plan. Because they know the price of greatness is consistency, and consistency is built on discipline. It's the same with anything in life. If you want to master a skill, if you want to build a career, if you want to achieve something most people never will, then you have to do what most people won't. And that means discipline. It means waking up early to put in the extra work. It means saying no to distractions, to temptations, to everything that pulls you away from your goal. It means setting a standard for yourself higher than what anyone else expects and holding yourself to it every single day. People love to talk about their dreams. They love to imagine what success will look like, what life will be like when they finally make it. But dreams are easy. Action is hard. And the truth is, most people aren't willing to do what it takes. They want the rewards without the effort. They want the success without the struggle. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Get what you work for. And if you're not willing to be disciplined, if you're not willing to put in the time, then that dream will stay exactly where it is in your imagination. Look at the people who have achieved greatness, the ones who turned their dreams into something real. They didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by hoping, by waiting, by wishing. They got there through relentless effort, through an unbreakable commitment to their vision. They got there because they made a decision, not just once, but every single day, to stay disciplined. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you willing to do what it takes? Not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient, but every day, even on the hard days, even when no one is pushing you, even when the progress is slow and the results aren't there yet, and it feels like nothing is working, because that's the test. That's where most people quit. But if you have the discipline to keep going, to put in the work even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels impossible, then nothing can stop you. The truth is, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's what turns potential into achievement. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. And if you can master discipline, if you can train yourself to do the hard things, the necessary things, the things no one else wants to do, then you won't just chase your dreams. You'll catch them. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Life will knock you down. That's not a question, that's a guarantee. You will fail, you will struggle, you will have moments when nothing seems to go your way, when every door you knock on stays closed, when the people you counted on walk away, when everything inside you says, maybe this isn't meant for me. And in that moment, you have a choice. Do you stay down or do you get back up? Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence or opportunity or resources. They fail because they stay down. They let failure define them instead of refine them. They hit an obstacle and convince themselves it's a wall when really it's just a hurdle. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not that successful people never fail, it's that they refuse to let failure stop them. They refuse to let a setback become a full stop. They fall, they get up, they adjust, and they keep moving. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't get up one day, take a perfect step, and just start running. No, they fall over and over again. They take a step, stumble, hit the ground. But they don't sit there and say, maybe walking isn't for me. They don't quit because it's hard. They don't decide they're just not meant to walk. No, they get up. They try again, and again, and again, until one day they take a step and don't fall, then another, and before they know it, they're walking, running, exploring the world. Somewhere along the way, we lose that mindset. We start believing that failure is something to be ashamed of. We start thinking that if we fail, it means we aren't good enough. But failure isn't the enemy. Failure is part of the process. It's the test that determines if you really want what you say you want. Because if you're not willing to push through the failures, then you don't want it bad enough. Look at the greatest success stories, the people who changed history, the people who built legacies. Every single one of them failed, over and over again. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. When asked about it, he didn't say, I failed 1,000 times. He said, I found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's the mindset. That's the mentality of someone who refuses to stay down. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, missed over 9,000 shots in his career. He lost almost 300 games. He failed to make the game-winning shot 26 times. And yet, he's considered one of the greatest to ever play the game. Not because he never failed, but because he never let failure define him. He kept shooting, he kept playing, he kept getting back up. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before someone finally took a chance on Harry Potter. Imagine if she had stopped at rejection number 10. Imagine if she had let the failures convince her that her dream wasn't possible. But she didn't. She got back up. She kept pushing forward. And now, her books have sold over 500 million copies worldwide. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you rise. The ones who make it aren't necessarily the smartest. They aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. They're the ones who see failure as a lesson, not a limit. So the question is, when you fall, what will you do? Will you stay down? Will you make excuses? Will you convince yourself it wasn't meant to be? Or will you get up? Will you dust yourself off and try again? Will you take that failure and use it as fuel? Because life is not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it. It's about building resilience. It's about proving to yourself over and over again that no matter how hard you get hit, you will always stand back up. That's what separates the good from the great. That's what determines who makes it and who doesn't. Not luck, not talent, not intelligence, but persistence. The ability to rise, the refusal to quit, the mindset that says, no matter how many times I fall, I will always get back up. So when life knocks you down, and it will, remember this: fall down 7 times, get up 8. Because as long as you keep getting up, you can never be defeated. Don't just aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. Too many people spend their lives chasing a paycheck. They wake up every morning, go to work, collect a salary, pay their bills, and repeat the cycle over and over again. They measure success by the number in their bank account, the size of their house, the car they drive. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting financial security, if that's all you're after, if your only goal is to make a living, you're aiming too low. You're aiming too low. You're aiming too low. Because real success isn't about what you have, it's about what you give. It's about the impact you make. It's about whether, at the end of your life, you can look back and say, I made a difference. Think about the people who inspire you, the people you admire, the ones who left a legacy. Were they just chasing money, or were they building something greater? Were they lifting others up? Were they using their talents, their skills, their resources to create something that outlived them? The truth is, the most successful, most fulfilled people are the ones who don't just focus on themselves. They focus on how they can serve, how they can lead, how they can change the world in their own way. The world does not need more people who are just trying to get by. It needs people who are willing to stand up and make a difference. It needs people who refuse to settle for a life of just existing, just working, just surviving. It needs people who are driven by purpose, not just a paycheck. Because when you live with purpose, when you work towards something bigger than yourself, success has a way of finding you. That's the secret. If you chase money, you might get it, but it won't fulfill you. If you chase status, you might achieve it, but it won't satisfy you. But if you chase impact, if you chase meaning, if you focus on how you can serve, how you can help, how you can uplift others, everything else follows. Because money comes and goes, fame fades, but impact lasts. Think about the teachers who shape young minds, who inspire students to dream bigger. Think about the doctors and nurses who save lives, who bring hope where there was none. Think about the artists, the writers, the leaders, who challenge the way we see the world, who make us think, who make us feel, who make us believe in something greater. They aren't just making a living, they are making a difference. And you don't have to be famous, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have millions of followers to change the world. Because real impact isn't always loud. It's in the small things. It's in how you treat people. It's in the kindness you show, the wisdom you share, the love you give. It's in the way you lead by example, the way you refuse to give up, the way you inspire others to be better just by being who you are. If you want to leave your mark, start where you are. You don't have to wait. You don't have to have everything figured out. Just ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I take what I know, what I love, what I'm good at, and use it to make someone else's life better? Because that's where true success begins. The world is full of people chasing things that won't matter in the end. Don't be one of them. Don't just work for a paycheck. Work for a purpose. Don't just build a career. Build a legacy. Don't just make a living. Make a difference. Because at the end of your life, the question won't be, how much money did I make? It will be, how many lives did I touch? How many people did I help? What did I leave behind? So whatever you do it with purpose, do it with heart, do it in a way that lifts others up. Because when you focus on impact, success will follow. And when your time comes, when your story is written, you won't just be remembered for what you had, you'll be remembered for what you gave. And that is what truly matters.